Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning a bit about bread. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell truth from fiction. Chew on this. Would you believe that from a scientific perspective, bread is actually classified as a foam? What do you think? Could that be true? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is leavening. Leavening refers to any substance used in dough or batter that causes it to rise, creating a lighter, softer texture. This process is crucial for many baked goods, including most breads, cakes, and pastries. The most common leavening agent in traditional bread making is yeast, a single-celled fungus. When yeast is mixed with flour, water, and a bit of sugar, it begins to consume the sugars. As the yeast metabolizes these sugars, it produces two primary byproducts, alcohol and carbon dioxide gas. The gas gets trapped within the elastic gluten network of the dough, causing it to inflate and rise. The word leaven comes from the Old French levain, which itself derives from the Latin levamen, meaning relief or alleviation. And it's related to the verb levare, meaning to lift. The concept of leavening has been around for thousands of years, with ancient civilizations discovering that allowing dough to ferment could produce a more palatable and digestible product. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about bread. Number 1. The earliest evidence of bread making dates back over 14,000 years, predating the rise of agriculture and suggesting bread was a staple for hunter-gatherers. Recent archaeological discoveries in the Black Desert of Jordan have unearthed charred crumbs of flatbread, indicating that humans were baking bread long before they started cultivating grains systematically. This finding challenges the traditional view that bread making only began after the advent of settled agriculture, pushing back the timeline significantly. It suggests that early humans were experimenting with wild cereals and tubers to create nourishing and portable food sources. These ancient bakers would have likely used simple techniques, grinding wild grains or roots into flour, mixing them with water, and then baking them on hot stones or in ashes. This early form of bread would have been a high-energy food, crucial for the nomadic lifestyle of hunter-gatherers. Number 2. The invention of sliced bread in 1928 was considered such a significant achievement, it led to the popular idiom, "the greatest thing since sliced bread." Before 1928, bread was sold in whole loaves and consumers had to slice it themselves, a time-consuming and often uneven task. Otto Frederick Rohwedder, an American inventor, spent years developing a machine that could not only slice bread, but also wrap it to keep it fresh. His invention revolutionized the bread industry and made daily life much more convenient for countless households. The impact on daily life was immense, particularly for homemakers. Imagine a busy morning with a large family where each person needed toast for breakfast and sandwiches for packed lunch. Prior to pre-sliced bread, this meant manually slicing dozens of pieces, often resulting in uneven thicknesses and wasted crumbs. During a brief ban on sliced bread in 1943, one person wrote into the New York Times saying, quote, "My husband and 4 children are all in a rush during and after breakfast. Without ready sliced bread, I must do the slicing for toast, 2 pieces for each one, that's 10. For their lunches, I must cut by hand at least 20 slices for 2 sandwiches apiece. Afterwards, I make my own toast, 22 slices of bread to be cut in a hurry," end quote. Doing the math for that meal prep, you can really see where sliced bread was a life-changing invention. And that's why within 5 years of its introduction, by 1933, about 80% of the bread sold in the United States was pre-sliced. Number 3. Bread played such a vital role in ancient Egypt that it was even used as a form of currency and often buried with the dead. For the ancient Egyptians, bread was more than just food. It was a cornerstone of their diet and economy. The fertile Nile River Valley provided abundant grain harvests, which were then processed into various types of bread. Bakers were highly respected members of society, and large bakeries operated in conjunction with breweries, as beer was also made from fermented grain. Bread was so integral that laborers were often paid in loaves of bread and jugs of beer. And it didn't stop there. In their elaborate burial rituals, Egyptians would include bread as offerings for the deceased in the afterlife. Number 4. There are more than 300 distinct varieties of bread enjoyed around the world. From the thin, unleavened lavish of the Middle East to the dense, dark pumpernickel of Germany, bread takes an astonishing array of forms, textures, and flavors globally. Each region has developed its unique bread-making techniques and preferred ingredients, often influenced by local agriculture practices and historical events. For example, in India, you'll find a wide variety of flatbreads like naan, roti, and chapati, often served with curries and stews, while in France, the crusty baguette is an iconic symbol of their culinary heritage, perfect for tearing and dipping. The volume of bread produced worldwide shows the universal appeal and the importance of this food as a staple in people's diets. While the exact global production statistics can fluctuate, it's estimated that billions of loaves are produced annually, making bread one of the most widely consumed processed foods. Although it's difficult to pinpoint a singular most popular variety due to cultural differences, basic white and whole wheat sandwich breads remain incredibly common in Western countries. Americans are said to consume around 37 to 44 pounds of bread per capita annually, making sliced sandwich bread the most widely consumed bread in the US, while various flatbreads are staples across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. And our fifth and final fun fact for today: bread is so important in people's diets. When there were shortages and high prices in the 18th and 19th centuries, it sparked riots. Throughout history, the price and availability of bread have been a critical indicator of social stability, especially in pre-industrial societies where it formed the bulk of people's diets. When harvests failed or greedy merchants hoarded grain, the resulting scarcity and soaring bread prices would quickly lead to widespread unrest and public outcry. The bread riots were often violent, with protesters demanding fair prices and access to this essential food. These riots showed the direct link between food security and social order. Governments understood that a hungry populace was a rebellious populace, and controlling bread prices was a key political concern. The history of the bread riots serves as a powerful reminder of how a seemingly simple food can ignite social movements and even reshape political landscapes when its accessibility is threatened. Now for some news you can use. Here's a simple tip for keeping your bread fresh longer. Store it at room temperature, not in the fridge. While it might seem counterintuitive, refrigerating bread actually causes it to go stale faster. The cold temperatures accelerate the process of retrogradation, where the starch molecules crystallize, making the bread hard and dry. Instead, keep your bread in a cool, dry place, ideally an airtight container or a bread box to protect it from air exposure, which can also contribute to staleness. If you won't be eating the bread within a few days, your best bet is to freeze it. Sliced bread can be frozen and then toasted directly from the freezer, retaining much of its original freshness and texture. And now for the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked if it's true that bread could be classified as a foam. Well, that's a fact. Scientifically speaking, bread is indeed considered a solid foam. A foam is a substance that is formed by trapping pockets of gas in a liquid or solid. In the case of bread, the yeast or other leavening agents produce carbon dioxide gas during fermentation. The gas gets trapped within the elastic network of gluten proteins in the dough, creating countless tiny air pockets. When the bread bakes, this structure solidifies, resulting in the familiar porous texture of bread. The interconnected air cells are what give bread its light texture and volume, differentiating it from a dense, unleavened cracker. So that slice of bread is actually a delicious, edible foam. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about bread with me today. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.